Modern Real Estate Practice, page 374. Renting the property. Effective rental of the property being managed is essential to ensure its long-term financial health. A property manager may use the services of a leasing agent. The real estate professional acting as leasing agent will be concerned solely with renting space and will not be responsible for maintaining and managing the property. Setting rental rates. While some municipalities control rent increases for residential tenants, most communities allow the market to determine the amount of rent that a tenant should pay. Because rental rates are influenced primarily by supply and demand, property managers should conduct a detailed survey of the competitive space available in the neighborhood, emphasizing similar properties. In establishing rental rates, property managers must consider the following. The rental income must be sufficient to cover the property's fixed charges and operating expenses. The rental income must provide a return on the owner's investment. The rental rate should be comparable with prevailing rates in comparable buildings in the area. It may be slightly higher or slightly lower, depending on the desirability of the property. The current vacancy rate in the property is a good indicator of how much of a rent increase might be possible. A building with a low vacancy rate is a better candidate for an increase than one with a high vacancy rate. A rental rate for residential space is usually stated as the monthly rate per unit. Commercial leases, including office, retail, and industrial space rentals, are usually stated according to either annual or monthly rates per square foot. An elevated level of vacancy may indicate poor management, a defective or undesirable property, or rental rates that are too high for the market or the property. A high occupancy rate may mean that rental rates are too low. Before adjusting the rental rates, the manager should investigate the rental market to determine whether a rent increase is warranted. Marketing. To ensure that a property generates income, the property manager must attract the best tenants. The marketing strategy must take into consideration the property itself, the supply and demand in the area where the property is to be located, and the amount of money available for advertising. Advertising. All advertising and promotional activities must comply with federal, state, and local non-discrimination laws. The content cannot market to one protected class, such as race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, or disability. To ensure that a property generates income, the property manager must attract the best tenants. Advertising methods are numerous and include internet sites and social media, newspapers, brochures, radio, television, and direct mail. Management activities. Because property management firms are often known by reputation, it is important for a firm to maintain good public relations. One way to cultivate public relations is through community involvement and charitable giving. Page 375. Firms can also write and issue public service announcements, PSAs, or press releases regarding special projects. These announcements can attract the attention of the media and ultimately prospective tenants. Marketing and advertising costs. A cost-benefit analysis helps a property manager assess whether a particular advertising method worked to attract new tenants. Property marketing expenses are usually figured on a cost per prospect per lease basis. For example, if a 3-bedroom apartment rents for $1,500, is typically viewed by 10 prospects before it is leased, and a single newspaper advertisement is the only marketing. An $800 newspaper ad would cost $80 per prospect. The internet has significantly expanded a property manager's ability to reach consumers. Online apartment vacancy listings sites include www.apartmentfinder.com, www.apartmentguide.com, www.craigslist.com, and www.forrent.com, www.realtor.com, www.trulia.com, and www.zillow.com. Selecting tenants. Proper selection is the first step in establishing and maintaining sound, long-term relationships with tenants. The manager should be sure that the premises are suitable for the tenants in terms of size, location, and amenities, and that the tenant can afford the space. A commercial tenant's business should be compatible not only with the building, but also with the businesses of the other tenants. Managers should always ask commercial tenants about the potential for expansion, because the property may not have enough room for expansion. The manager could soon lose the tenant to a larger space. In practice, some commercial leases prohibit the introduction of similar businesses. In any event, introduction of competitors into the same property should be undertaken with care, because competitors in the same location will often decrease the activity of both businesses, and soon one or the other will seek to move. The residential property manager must be sure to comply with all federal, state, and local fair housing laws in selecting tenants. Although fair housing laws do not apply to commercial properties, commercial property managers need to be aware of federal, state, and local anti-discrimination and equal opportunity laws that may govern industrial or retail properties, including the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is discussed later. Most states have strict requirements as to how security deposits should be handled by the property manager, how soon they must be deposited into what kind of account, and when they must be refunded. In general, funds belonging to others, such as security deposits and collected rents, should be placed into a trust or escrow account. Property managers should not use any of these funds personally, conversion, or mix the funds into personal accounts, commingling. Collected rents. A property manager should accept only those tenants who can be expected to meet their financial obligations. The manager should investigate financial references, check with local credit bureaus, and, when possible, interview a prospective tenant's former landlord to ensure the tenant is able to meet financial obligations. Financial qualification standards must be applied in a similar fashion to all applicants to avoid even the appearance of a discriminatory practice.